Hi, friends. This is Kate Bishop. I'm part of the LGBT Health Resource Center at Chase Brexton Healthcare, and I'm here to do an Elder Day tribute, National Honor LGBT Elders Day, May 16th, for Jamie Hecker. I think Jamie is the elder who has had the singular most impact on who I am, and I certainly wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for her influence. I met Jamie when I was 26 and she was 51, and I'm now 46 and she's 71. 20 years ago, she interviewed me for a job at a nonprofit abortion clinic in Cleveland, Ohio, called Preterm. Preterm is a very special place. Jamie was the director of patient services and had been one of the founders of the clinic back in 1973, the year I was born. I got there in the early 2000s and became part of that place for 7 years. We were really trying to do something special. In Northeast Ohio, it's a pretty hostile place to get an abortion. Um, the laws are draconian. There were protesters every day, somewhere between 2 and 10 most days, some days up to 50, people standing outside of the clinic and yelling at women who were trying to come in and have an abortion. So we wanted a place where we could make people's healthcare experience the best they'd ever had. Not only like not just a dirty back alley experience that they expected, but actually an incredibly empowering moment when a person could take charge of choice, even if the pregnancy itself was a result of rape, or this pregnancy was wanted and there was a fetal anomaly or some reason why there had to be an abortion. Making the decision today is still a choice that has power in it. And to give people a real perspective about that. We wanted the clinic experience to be as loving and kind and wonderful as it possibly could be. And the way that preterm operated with the embrace for every patient as an individual, with all that she brought in with her, with all of her difficulties and all of her hassles, was just in the warmest and most wonderful healthcare that I've been part of. And I've now worked in healthcare since that job, where I left preterm after 7 years and went to social work school. And lots of us did. I think I saw about 6,000 folks while I was there, and eventually became the senior patient advocate, which is sort of like the head of counseling. Here's a picture of some of my colleagues and dear friends who also ended up with that job over time. Jamie was our mentor. So she showed me how to do abortion as healthcare and how to embrace a community of women. The most important gift that I left preterm with was learning how to be a trainer, which now is my entire career. Jamie created a 40-hour training program, really extensive, lots of stuff about values clarification and self-reflection, as well as how to help people talk and tell their story and make space for folks to hold grief and anger and stories of abuse and trauma and talk to people about their faith. This was all in that training. And she handed that program to me. And what a gift. I got to be the person who did that training. And now I've taken those skills of how to be a trainer and trained thousands of health and human service workers on the same basic counseling skills that Jamie taught me about how to reflect feelings, how to just be with someone who is dealing with really difficult feelings. The clinic itself was also an embrace for the people who worked there. Many of us went on to other careers, doctors, nurses. The director of patient services now and the director of nursing at preterm are both people I trained while I was there. We all kind of came up under Jamie's tutelage. Starting my career talking about sex and sexual and reproductive health set me up to be able to talk about the hardest possible topics and help people be comfortable. It helped me look at how shame impacts everyone, but particularly impacts people from marginalized positions like women and queer folks. Even more than that, my professional career absolutely was launched by this woman, but so was my identity. Jamie's main gift to me has been teaching me just how to be an adult lesbian woman. What is our community? What is our culture? What are the ways that we are with one another? Are really a legacy of watching her do her stuff. One thing that's lesbian culture was handed to me is that we get involved. We are here to move the dial for women and for LGBT people. This is Jamie at a protest called Women Rising. And she just invited me to stuff and took me to things and talked to me about what she was doing, enough that I got excited and got involved and understood a lot more about how community operates. This is a picture of me at Cleveland Pride with my band singing protest songs. She was at that event and many other times came to hear my band. She told me about how women had created the Landing Library and the Rape Crisis Center and the abortion clinic, all of those things in Cleveland, those institutions. When I came to Baltimore, I started to create institutions myself because I understood that that's how community works. We pass on to the next group of people. how what the pillars of community are. Here's me with a program called The Den, which is a youth center that we worked really hard to try and get going in Baltimore. And I just learned how to be part of a movement and what it meant to be powerful in collective motion. This is me working on the Monument Quilt, which is a product of force, upsetting rape culture, working with trauma survivors, came out of that time for me. But you know what? It's not all grim and serious. Sometimes lesbian culture is silly and fun. And getting involved in this is the Cleveland Women Variety Show. Jamie crewed that and was in it many times. And here's me at the Charm City Kitty Club taking on that tradition. This is Baltimore's queer cabaret, where part of what we do is just enjoy being together. Jamie has a really cool way of just being in her body and taught me a lot about kind of Buddhist principles about just be in what is and accepting what is now. Also taught me about taking in all the folks who are most vulnerable, and that one thing that lesbians do is look after children, either our own or the children of the community. And Jamie has seen several kids all the way from their early childhood to adulthood as kind of a second mom or a grandma or a auntie. And as I'm aging now at 46 and coming into that auntie age myself, I can see how I repeat many of the mentorship qualities and ways of helping people connect that I learned by watching her do it incredibly skillfully and with a lot of humor and grace. This is Feminist Girls Camp. It happens on the women's land that's close by to Jamie's farm in rural Pennsylvania. This camp has been going on long enough that one of the early attendees is now the director of patient services at preterm. One thing Jamie taught me how to do is live a life together with another person, how to have a partnership that lasts decades. This is Deborah, Jamie's partner, who's also someone who's had an enormous impact on me and growing into the person that I am. And now at almost 20 years with my partner, I'm seeing what it means to be part of that chain as well. This is a group of just second wave feminist women who were part of that generation. And I want to say that Jamie gave me that wisdom directly because of our intimate friendship. But you know what? I got that from that larger group of people who were all part of the thought and action that moved that city forward. One thing Jamie taught me is how to stay friends with your friends. I've been gone from Cleveland for more than 15 years, but I still go back frequently. I still connect with folks. She's also taught me some things that were harder. When Jamie's mom died, I learned how you survive a parent. And these are two friends of hers who've passed away. I learned from Jamie how you do grief in community and how we hold one another when things really get tough. Jamie also showed me how to retire. She inherited a beautiful patch of land from her mother and moved into her mother's house and made it her own. They have created this mini farm where she, at 71, continues to do an enormous amount of physical labor to make it happen and holds it as a space for people, especially women, to come and heal. Um, that was Jamie with her arthritic 71-year-old knees up on that ladder. And here she is, such a badass on her tractor. I don't see her as often as I'd like to because we live in other states, but I do make a pilgrimage because it's really important to have that touchstone at least once a year. So I go up on the 4th of July and we watch fireworks with this group of kind of multi-generational lesbians, mostly folks from Cleveland. We sit around the campfire and sing songs because that's part of our culture. We pick food. We do work days to fix up the grounds. That's part of our culture. We make food for one another. We do ritual together. We continue community because that's our culture. And Jamie's the person that gifted that culture to me. I know that my work and my whole life started when I stepped into that clinic. It's not like I wasn't an adult before that. It wasn't like I wasn't gay before that, but I didn't have my tribe until Jamie found me. Thanks, Jamie. I love you forever.